There are historical fanzines, and then there are historical fanzines. The Rocket Blast Comic Collector. This is one of the big ones. Let's take a look at it. And hello everyone, it's Tom, it's FANzine Live. I am kind of excited to do today's classic zine video. This is a zine that I had heard of forever and ever as being kind of one of those precursors to so many zines in the comic space. And I had never seen it before. It's called Rocket Blast Comic Collector. And I was messing around on eBay about a month or two back, and I found a couple copies that were in reasonably good shape and very reasonably inexpensive. So I thought I'd pick them up and take a look and share with you what I found. And what I found is some stuff that looks quite nice. You can see right from the cover, you've got yourself some really nice looking buildings. You've got yourself the Blue Beetle character with his bug vehicle. You can see that we've got a lot of Zipatone being used all over the place. Somebody knows what they're doing. Check out that Dr. Strange. Wow. Okay, and we've got a nice looking Batman as well. So this is the April 77 issue of Rocket Blast Comic Collector, and published out of Miami. Editor emeritus was a Gordon Love. The current, at the time, editor was a gentleman, and publisher was a gentleman named James Van Heis. Now here's where it gets interesting. Take a look at these staff artists. Steve Fabian, Ralph Fowler, Kerry Gammill, who I believe I have seen on Superman work. Don Rosa, the duck artist. Ron Wilbur. Tom Sutton, who I know did some work on DC's 1980 Star Trek. And Mike Zeck. Mike Zeck of Secret Wars fame, right there. Mike Zeck of Spider-Man fame. I believe he did Kraven's Last Hunt. I mean, these are some big names. And Zeck did the Blue Beetle piece. So that's Zeck's work from 1976-77. Back cover is by a gentleman named Frank Hamilton, who did The Shadow. Look at the pointillism. Yowza. Huh. Okay. Zeck also contributes the feature page for this issue. Is that the feature page? Okay. So anyway, we've got your basics as far as your fanzines. Now, this was a very important zine for the day. This was one that true collectors of comics and those who were interested in comics really gravitated toward. And remember, there's no internet back then. This was one of the great secondary providers of information and opinion about comics. And notice here, he says, did you know that there's a bold new spirit aborting in fandom? It's apparently exemplified by picking a fight over nothing, then leading with your chin. The proponent of this new spirit is Gary Groth of the Comics Journal. So, gotta love Gary Groth, he was at it back in 1977. Another one, interesting note to this, which should give you something to think about, is that the Buyer's Guide, which is the same type of zine as the Comics Journal, has never been reviewed in the Rocket Blast. Never heard one word of protest from Alan Light. So, I mean, it's a combination of really interesting stuff here. I do note here it says Mike Zeck helped Marvel editor Archie Goodwin out of a tight spot by penciling an issue of Master of Kung Fu on an 11th hour deadline, which is cool. They talk about information that's on sale. I see here there will be an 8-page strip in the next issue by 8-page science fiction strip, brand new and previously unpublished, by Dennis Fujitaki, an artist fandom hasn't heard from too much in the last couple of years. Comes back strong with the strip in the next issue, though. Fujitaki is the guy who did... Do I have it here? I think I have it here. He did... Delgota, which this is a 1983 book that was done for Fantagraphics, and this is a collected edition that I just picked up recently. But anyway, so you can see there are a lot of the artists who have been involved in the world of comics that now are showing up in here. Piece with Tom Sutton talking about he apparently was working at Charlton. And talking about what he was doing there. This is a Don Rosa background piece. That's a Tom Sutton Flash Gordon piece. These are Tom Sutton, looks like Red Sonja, if I had to guess. Interesting interview as well. Nice feature piece. So they have this type of stuff. Then they flip over, and then they will do in here some strips. And this is spaced 1998 and 2/4. Art and story by Ronald Wilbur. Fun spoof on Space 1999. Very much a Mad Magazine type of feel to it. And here's some of Ron Wilbur's work. Then some critiquing. Cinefastique, Comics Journal, which they're not reviewing, but he did mention something in there. Heavy Metal, Starwinds, SPFX, The Complete Book of Cartooning, The Outer Limits, Xenophile, Manticore. Coming from DC, Star Hunters by Newton and Layton. That's got to be Bob Layton, who is known for doing many things, not the least of which would be Iron Man. The Keyhole, talking about contracts. And the types of contracts that the big two, in this case, they always talk about a DC thing. Don Rosa's Information Center. And of course, he's talking about ducks. Fantastic. Stan Lee and Cliff Sterrett Comicopia by R.C. Harvey. Cliff Sterrett on The Greats. Oh, The Greats, Cliff Sterrett. The cartoonist, my bad. Not familiar with Sterrett. Nice looking work, though. Did Polly and Her Pals. Again, not one that I'm familiar with. And then he went and did this type of work as well. This more modern type stuff. Nifty. Comic Collector's Comments. by Howard Siegel. Looks like we're digging into some pretty old stuff here. Yeah, going back into the pulps. The Artist Collector. This is neat. They are talking about some of the art that people were able to get copies of. Point and counterpoint. Looks like they might be talking about comic book conventions, pluses and minuses. Tell you, a lot of this stuff is universal. It goes on and on and on. The Pertwillaby Papers. Kind of an underground type look to the artwork, but again, really well done. And I mean, you've got Zipatone and nice looking cartooning. It's a good looking submarine, that's for certain. Really nice. Done by Don Rosa. This is Don Rosa pre-Dux. Holy cow. Fun. Fandom Funnies, the Buyer's Guide parody, the Berkeley Comic Art Fair. Let's see who's showing up. Oh, Fritz Lieber's going to show up. Spain and Trina, Ted Richard, Guy Colwell, Gary Helgard, Bill Stout, Lee Mars, Melinda Gebby, Greg Irons, Larry Todd, Tim Boxell, Dot Butcher, Ron Turner, Ripoff Press. Okay. Not a lot that I'm familiar with. Now this is interesting. Fandom Funnies, 1970s. Contributors include a Kurt Erickson. There is a Kurt Erickson in the United Fanzine organization. Also, Dave Mazzucchelli. Dave, not David. Dave Mazzucchelli. Huh. Sounds like somebody needs to find that Fandom Funnies and see what that looks like. A lot of the old zines had handmade ads like this. A James Bond 007 review. Cool. California Comics. Order by mail. We pay the postage. Little Book of Inner Space. Barbarian Comics. Barbarian Women. Ye Old Fanzine Shop. These are some of the ones that Van Hise had available. Fun. Then you, of course, get your back issues. Van Hise also apparently is a huge Star Trek fan. These are some of his old 8x10 color stills. Enterprise Incidents. Silent Running stills. Silent Running. I am not familiar with this one. I think I'm going to have to go look for that. Of course, the old War of the Worlds film. That was cool. Frazetta and Reed Crandall and Wally Wood all in one issue of Art Fantastique. And that's Al Williamson and Frazetta together there. Woohoo! The journal where the fanzine RBCC won't review. Love it. Original art for sale. Let's see. You want a piece of Rich Buckler art? You can get a cover for $60. It's got Deathlock on it. Sal Buscema, Master of Kung Fu for $6 or $7 a page. Paul Gulacy, $20, $40 a page. Oh, these are great. Ed Hannigan, Larry Hama, Don Heck. Gil Kane in Humans for $15 to $20 a page. George Perez in Humans, $15 to $20. PK Russell for $25. Amazing. Just amazing. These are some of Tom Sutton's original art for sale. Let's see, number 4. Anywhere Machine, 8 pages, layouts by Wally Wood, finished art by Tom Sutton, 1973. You could have had it for $40 complete, all 8 pages. The ads are almost as fun as the content itself in this old stuff. So there you go. Hey, and you can get yourself some plastic bags from our friend Bill Cole in Wollaston, Mass. Neat stuff. Rocket Blast Comic Collector. What a nifty zine this is. Little bit of creative content, little bit of review, little bit of interviews and profiles and ads and all that. I can see why this was the place to go, or at least one of the places to go. Very cool. I've got another copy, and I'm sure later on down the road we'll take a look at that too. But I wanted to just give you the taste of what the RBCC, the Rocket Blast Comic Collector, was. Do you have any copies of this? If you do, share your thoughts about them in the comments. Or if you're interested in learning more about it, why don't you leave a comment about that as well? Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And of course, tell your friends, because we look at just about everything related to zines and small press comics here at FANzine Live. Thank you so much for watching FANzine Live. I will catch you next time.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.